Hello everybody, my name is Zul, and welcome back to Modding Oblivion. In today's episode, I am going to be showing off a mod that changes the characters' faces, makes them look a lot better, and basically just changes the whole way that you're going to see the characters in this game. This is probably one of my number one essential mods for playing this game, right behind the UI changes, and it is an absolutely fantastic mod. I'm going to start off by showing you what the characters look like in vanilla, in case you're not fully familiar, and then I'm going to show you the mod, just to show such a drastic contrast. Sorry there hasn't been any videos lately. I am back now, so hopefully I should be able to get things rocking and rolling. This video will only have the one mod, but in the future I'm going to be ramping things back up to how they used to be. Anyway, let's get into looking at the vanilla races. If there's one thing that I can say about the races in Oblivion is that they look, well, strange. Their features are very fat, very wide, and the proportions are just totally off. I think the traditional saying is potato-faced. And some races, like the Khajiit here, just look absolutely awful. Like, I don't know what this is really supposed to be, but this whole nose front thing of their face just makes them look positively ridiculous. The humanoid races look better, but again, everything seems to be fat and dull and lifeless. It's almost like there's like a layer of like prosthetics or maybe some Botox in there or something. It's just really fat. And the beast races, especially in this game, look just strange. The orc especially does not look fearsome and brutish, as is the typical of their appearance, but not necessarily their personality. They just look shiny and weird looking, like they're a giant booger. The other races don't fare as well either. The humanoid races fare better, and I think the elven races suffer the most from this, with the strange facial stretching and wideness. They don't have that, what I would consider the characteristic of an Oblivion character's face. They just look like sort of like stretched out humans. It doesn't work out very well. The Argonian can look okay, but until you see something with a much better way of doing the scales on their face, you'll never want to go back after seeing that. Humanoid faces I've spoken about, and the Dark Elves, they particularly look kind of weird, with again that sort of sheen on their face that I don't really appreciate. And the High Elves actually look the strangest. They look like a stretched out sort of just weirdly tinted skin colored kind of character. They don't really look like like a high elf. They just look like a guy with some weird disease that makes his skin yellow and weird ears. The females fare, some could say, worse. The females in this game look a little bit weird. The human Imperial, I find, looks very, very strange. And the Khajiit, again, especially strange looking. This Nord here, as you can see, is just strangely pale and sort of looks like a mannequin or a ghost. The orcs I've spoken of once again. Again, I've never really played female characters in these games, so there's not a lot I can talk about. But as you can see, all of the faces do not look good. It's just awful. And we're going to be looking today at a mod that will fix this problem and make the player character's face look a lot better. Here I am with the Oblivion Character Overhaul 2 installed, and as you can see, it makes the characters in this game look absolutely fantastic. It is so much more realistic, so much more appropriately proportioned, and in my opinion, it is probably one of the most essential mods for this game. The beast races especially, as I've mentioned, look exceptional. The Khajiit looks much more, I don't want to say realistic, but appropriately proportioned, appropriately shaped. It looks very cat-like, but also a bit humanoid-ish. I definitely approve of this in comparison to the very strange Khajiit in the vanilla game. All the humanoid races look really, really, really good. They're much more proportioned. The men have a little bit of stubble going on. The orc, again, is another one of my favorites. Instead of looking all weird and shiny, they look very brutish and fearsome, and I think that they are an absolutely fantastic. Like, orcs, again, are another one of my favorites. This I could see being a really scary, evil, monstrous-looking character. but he also has much more proportioned features, so again, it's just sort of indicative of his race. The red guard looks good as well. As I've said, the humanoid races look very well. The wood elf looks very nice, although there is some ear clipping issues with the hair. I still find this to look a lot better than how they do in the vanilla game. Again, down with the potato faces. Argonians. Some people find these to look a little bit strange. I personally love the look of this as well. It makes them look much, much more reptile-like, much nicer. Bretons. Again, another humanoid race. They look good. The Dark Elves look really nice as well. Their eyes, especially this area of their face, isn't as strange as it is in the vanilla game. And then finally, the High Elf. Looks a lot closer to how they do in Oblivion as well. The ears are a little bit strange, but overall the face looks a lot more human, but at the same time has that alien-esque feature that's indicative of the High Elves. Alright, now I'm going to quickly go over all of the females. So, the female Imperial looks really good as well. The female Khajiit. I've never actually played a female character in this game, or in any of these games, so I'm not really sure what to compare it to as much, other than the small little area I took before. But again, the orcs look good. They look nice, and fearsome, which is again indicative of their race. The humanoid races, they look really humanoid. And the elves have that nice alien quality that I find to be traditional to the Elder Scrolls universe. Yeah, the Dark Elves, again, really nice. And the High Elves look a lot like the Ultimary Dominion. So, there we are. This is the mod. Alright, so it's time for me to walk you through the installation of the Oblivion Character Overhaul version 2. Make sure you download version 2, by the way. There is a version 1 on the Nexus, and it is out of date. Version 2, however, has been updated as of, well, yesterday, for when I'm making this video, which is actually extremely impressive. This mod is still being maintained, so it should be working fairly good, and have minimal amounts of bugs. As long as you install it properly, of course. Scroll down, as we always do, to check if there are mandatory requirements, which there is. We need to have OBSE and the Blockhead plugin. So we have OBSE, but the Blockhead plugin is something we're going to need to download. This is just a plugin for OBSE that allows the mod author to do what he's doing. Doesn't matter, just download it. You can click on that link, go over to the Nexus, and manually download the Blockhead plugin. Don't even worry about what it does, you just need it, so accept it. So a couple things. The mod author recommends you use Nexus Mod Manager, and that is a perfectly viable option. If you want to use Nexus Mod Manager, you go ahead and do it. I personally don't use Nexus Mod Manager. When I'm using Oblivion, I like to keep all my mods in one place, so I use the Oblivion Mod Manager. It works just fine. The clips you saw in the video were from me installing it this way. I don't use the Nexus Mod Manager for this game, so it'll work. If you're installing any body replacers, install those before this, by the way, so just keep that in mind. Now, let's get along to the installation. Go along to the Files section and download the main file manually. You want the Oblivion Character Overhaul version 2.02. There's also some updates. If you use the HGEC mod, download the patch. This is just like a body replacer mod or something. I don't use it, so I'm not going to do it. And download the eyelash length fix, because this is definitely needed. If you try installing it without this, you'll see some pretty weird looking Imperials with extremely long eyelashes. So go ahead and manually download this as well. As always, I've pre-downloaded these files, and I have them right here. The first thing we're going to do is create an OMod for Blockhead. Blockhead. Add an archive. Blockhead. OK. It'll be OBSE plugins blockhead.dll. That is the correct file extension. Go ahead and activate that. This won't take that long at all. In fact, it's done already. The second OMod that we're going to create is a bit more difficult. This is the Oblivion, let's call it the Character Overhaul. I'm sure I spelled something wrong. I always do in these videos. Go ahead and add the Oblivion Character Overhaul to the archive. This will take a little while, actually. And if you try clicking on it, your Oblivion Mod Manager might actually stop responding. That's fine. It'll only take a moment. I'm actually going to cut the recording. Oh, never mind. I was going to cut the recording, but it worked. So, as we can see, a bunch of textures here. That makes sense. And we have a plugin. and I spelt character overhaul correctly, I hope, and create the OMod. I'm going to go ahead and click yes. This is the part that's going to take a very long time, the compressing of this. Maybe I'm just wrong. Maybe this doesn't take as long as I thought. Anyway, quick cut to when it's in. After what I'm sure has felt like far too long, your OMod will be successfully created for that. Now we're actually going to have to create another OMod, and this one is for the fix. So I'm just going to call it character overhaul update. And I'm going to add the eyelash fix archive here. I'm doing this for a reason. You could technically put them together, but I sometimes find problems when installing mods up as one big OMod. Once all your OMods are successfully activated, or successfully created, sorry, you're going to need to activate them, starting with Blockhead. Activate this, it'll only take a moment, and then it'll be done. Next is the Character Overhaul 1.0. Just go ahead and activate. Again, you could have technically combined this with the Character Overhaul eyelash fix, but I personally just found the mod just flat out refused to work when I combine those two together, and installing them separately is the only way I can get it to work on my system. I have no idea why. So go ahead and activate this. This will take a little while, but once it's done, it'll be finished. And finally, activate the character overhaul update. It'll say, has conflicts with an already active mod. Do you wish to be warned about this? Yes. And it's telling me it's going to replace some stuff. Yes, you want all these replacements because it is an update for the mod. Finally, go ahead and run boss, and it will help you out with your load order. And you should be able to go ahead and launch the game once this is done. So good luck with some better looking characters, and I hope you enjoy the mod. Sorry for the short episode. As I have maybe mentioned before, this is just me trying to get back into action after being away for a little while. I'm here, and I'm hoping to make a ton of awesome videos for you guys, so please consider subscribing, give me some feedback in the comments, tell me what you think. Am I an idiot? Did I do this all wrong? Do I have a terrible voice? Do I smell? Just let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. And as always, I have been Zool. Have an excellent day.